G'day guys. Stock OS on the Miyoo Mini Plus leaves a lot to be desired. There's not too many systems it can emulate out of the box, and it does seem to be lacking a load of features. Thankfully, there are a few different custom OSs available for it, with OnionOS usually being the most recommended. So today I thought we would go through how to install OnionOS onto a fresh SD card for our Miyoo Mini Plus, and then take a look at some of the awesome new features. As always, we'll be using our trusty 64GB Samsung Evo microSD card, and we'll be doing everything on our Windows 11 PC. Although since all we really need to do is format this SD card as FAT32, and then download, extract, and copy some files over to it. So you should be able to do this on pretty much any device that has a web browser and allows you to format SD cards as FAT32. Let's get into it. So to get started, we have to make sure our Miyoo Mini Plus is running a compatible firmware version. To do that, we just power on the handheld. You don't need an SD card inserted. I don't have one inserted in mine at the moment. When you power it on, it should boot to a bare bones stock OS. From here, we just want to press left, go to settings, press up to go to the very bottom. We want to go to device info, and we want to go down to version. Now your Miyoo Mini Plus must be running at least version 2023.05.05 or newer. Mine does seem to be running the latest version, which is 2023.06.28. We are ignoring the last four numbers at the very end of the version, since they do seem to go up and down depending on the date code. So instead we'll just focus on the date code. If yours is running an older version, you will have to manually update that first. That generally requires downloading a firmware file, dragging it to your SD card, putting it in this handheld, and turning it on. It should then automatically update. Just keep in mind there is risk of bricking your device when updating, so make sure you are using the correct firmware. So now we know we're on a compatible firmware version, we'll power off our handheld and move over to our Windows PC to create our OnionOS SD card. We're over on our Windows 11 PC now, and we've just opened up Google Chrome and gone to the OnionOS GitHub page, which I will link down in the description below. From here, on the right hand side, we want to click on Releases. We don't want to download the version 4.4 beta. We'll scroll down a little bit, and we want to download the latest stable version, which at the time of filming is 4.3.1-1. So under here, scroll down a little bit more, we should find Assets, and just below it we should see Onion v431.zip. It's around 412 meg. We just want to click on that once to download it. While that's downloading, we'll also need something that can format SD cards larger than 32GB as FAT32. For that, I always like to use Rufus. Just gone to rufus.ie, scroll down a little bit. Under downloads, we want to download the portable version, which at the time of filming is 4.11p. Just click on it once to download as well. If your SD card is 32GB or smaller, you won't need a third-party tool to format it to FAT32, but it doesn't hurt to use Rufus anyway. Once everything's finished downloading, we can close off Chrome and open up our downloads folder. Inside, we should have our OnionOS zip file and Rufus. We want to extract OnionOS, just right click on it. If you're on Windows 11, you may need to go down to show more options. You can use Windows built-in archiver, just click extract all, but I always like to use 7-zip, and we'll go to extract to. Once it's extracted, we'll open the folder just to make sure everything's in there. There should be 7 folders, and there are, all 7 are there. Next, we'll insert the SD card we'll be installing OnionOS to. It doesn't need to be empty, but you will lose everything on it when formatting, so make sure you've at least backed everything up. With the SD card inserted, we'll go back to our downloads folder and run Rufus. We'll be using this to format our SD card to FAT32, or if it's larger than 64GB, large FAT32. At the very top under device, make sure your SD card's selected. For me it is 64GB. Under boot selection, we want to change it to non-bootable. We can delete the volume label, doesn't matter too much. Under file system, we want to change it to FAT32 or large FAT32. This will differ depending on the size of your SD card. We will click Show Advanced Options, and we want to uncheck Create Extended Label and Icon Files. These label and icon files don't matter too much, but unchecking it just gives your SD card a cleaner look. Once you've double checked you have the correct device, click Start. You'll get a pop-up saying you will lose all data on that device. Once you've read it, click OK. Once it's finished formatting, we can close it off. It should only take a few seconds. Now we want to open up the OnionOS folder we extracted earlier. Select all 7 folders, so just press Ctrl A on your keyboard. Copy them, so Ctrl C, go over to our empty SD card, and paste them in here, Ctrl V. There's not too many files, and they're not too big, around 400 meg, so it shouldn't take too long to copy. Maybe 10 or 20 seconds. Once all 7 folders are finished copying, we can safely eject our SD card at the very bottom, just right click, eject, and then we'll move back over to our Miyoo Mini Plus to finish off the install. Back over with our Miyoo Mini Plus now, we just want to insert the SD card into the single slot on the bottom. The SD card goes in upside down with the label facing away from you, and it just clicks in. With it inserted, we just want to power it on. Should get the Onion V4 splash screen, which is good. OnionOS will install itself without any user interaction, which is great. So you can just sit back for a few minutes and relax. Just make sure your device is charged. You don't want it turning off during this install. It's worth noting this doesn't modify anything on the handheld itself, only the SD card. So if something goes wrong during the install, or it accidentally powers off, you can simply reformat the SD card, copy the files back over, and try again. After a few minutes, it should hopefully have installed successfully. From here, we don't want to press B to exit, we do want to go through the quick guide. Just press A to go to the next page, tells you a little bit about it, press A again, tells you the handy shortcuts. We will cover these a little bit later. Press A, and press A once more to finish the manual. Next, it wants to know what systems we want to install. There's 3 main categories: Verified, Apps, and Expert. I personally installed everything under Verified and Apps, and didn't touch Expert. So if you wanted to, you could go through all of these systems and select them one by one, just pressing left or right on the D-pad. Or if you want to select everything, just press X. Press R1 to go to the next tab. Once again, you can use the D-pad and left and right to manually select. Or if you want everything, which I would recommend, just press X. We'll press R1 once more to go to Expert. Now you can go through here if you want, but I personally didn't install any of these, although it is entirely up to you. We'll press R once more to go to Summary, tells you everything we've selected, and when you're happy, just press Start to install them all. Don't worry, you can go back to this install menu later on. This isn't a one-time offer. It is super easy to get back into and select other things. So don't stress too much on this installer menu. Once everything's finished installing, it should automatically reboot and take us straight back to the main menu. Now, if you did want to go back to the package installer, from the main menu, go across to Apps, go down to Package Manager, and here's the package installer once again. As mentioned, super easy to get back into. Once you finish in here, just press B to exit to go back to the main menu, and that's pretty much OnionOS installed and ready to go. I think we'll safely power off the device, just hold down the power button. We'll put the SD card back into our Windows PC, and go over how to copy some games and ports over to it. So we're back on our Windows 11 PC now, and I've just inserted the OnionOS SD card. Let's open it up and take a look. There are a bunch of folders in here, but the main 2 that you're going to be interested in is the BIOS folder. Open that up. This is where you would put all of your system BIOSes, most notably PS1. And if we go back to the root, the other folder is ROMs. And this is obviously where you put all of your games. If we scroll down a little bit, you can see there are a ton of systems that it can emulate. And there is in fact a ports folder. So to get games onto this, all you would do is copy the ROMs to the correct system folder. For example, your Game Boy Advance games will go into the GBA folder, DOS games into the DOS folder, and so on. Don't worry too much about thumbnails or Boxart, since OnionOS does have a built-in Boxart scraper. We'll cover how to use that a little bit later. For now, let's take a look at how to get some ports onto this. We've just opened up Google Chrome and gone to the OnionOS Ports Collection GitHub page. As always, I will link this down in the description below. So this is where you'll be getting most of your ports from. There's a bunch of ready-to-run ports that don't require any additional game files, which is good. And if we keep going down, there are engines which do require the original game files. Things like Doom, Quake, and Duke 3D. The steps and files required differ slightly between each port, so we won't go into too much detail on not ready-to-run ports. I think instead we'll go back to the ready-to-run section, and we'll download the Diablo 1 shareware version. Just click on it once to download. Once you've finished downloading, we can close off Chrome and go back to our downloads folder. So I only ended up getting the Diablo shareware port. This is a 7-zip compression archive, so if you're on an older version of Windows, you may need to install 7-zip to actually extract this, but I believe newer versions of Windows 11 does come with 7-zip archive support. So right click on it. Again, if you're on Windows 11, click Show More Options, go to 7-zip, and Extract to. We'll open up the folder we just extracted, Diablo shareware. Inside is a folder called ROMs. There's a bunch of other files and folders inside this, but we don't care about that. We actually want to copy the entire ROMs folder. So just select it, press Ctrl-C to copy, go back to our SD card, make sure you're on the root, so this screen here, and paste it in, Ctrl-V. That's pretty much all you have to do for each ready-to-run port. As mentioned, if your port isn't ready to run, you will need to add additional game files. I think we'll add a bunch of test games to our SD card, and then move back over to our Miyoo Mini Plus and take a look at the new OnionOS. So we've finished copying our games over, let's take a look around OnionOS. So you've got favorites, I haven't favorited anything, so that's why it's empty. We've got our systems list. One thing I don't like is how weird it is to navigate. You can't just press up and down to scroll pages, instead you have to be at the very edge of the current page and then press right. So if I want to go to Game Boy, instinctively I want to press down to go to the next page, and then press left to go to the bottom left of the last page, but that doesn't happen here. Not too important, but it is a little bit annoying. So it says we've got 7 pages of systems now. MS-DOS, which wasn't there before. NDS, I don't think that was there before either. We've got ports, obviously, and Virtual Boy. So there's way more systems now. We'll go back to the main menu. We've got all of our apps. So we've got the quick guide, package manager. That's where you can add and remove programs and apps. We've already covered that. It's the same one that you used when you installed OnionOS. Activity tracker, which tracks how long you've played. So there's none on here. When you start playing games, it will track that. RetroArch settings. You can search all of our games. You can change themes. Let's take a look and see if there's any built in. So it does have a nice little preview. Looks like we're on theme 22 out of 25, Silky. System 9 looks pretty neat. When you get to the end, you can't keep scrolling. It does stop, so you have to go all the way back to the start. Retrorama, the Pac-Man one. Looks like a PlayStation theme one. Gameboy one or pixel art. Nintendo Switch style one. A MyMinUI styled one. Gameboy Mini. And 3DS. There are a bunch of themes to choose. I'll probably just stick with the stock one. Just press B to go back. We've got system tweaks and tools. You can press select to view the tooltip. That's pretty handy. So the startup, save, exit and vibration, network, button shortcuts. That is handy if you don't like the stock hotkeys. Appearance and advanced tools, and that's it. We won't touch anything in here just yet, but it's good to know that you can tweak certain things. Advanced menu. See what that is. It looks like it just shows all of our games, and I'm guessing we can pick the cores it uses. No, it does just load straight into the game. Press the menu button to quit out, or it brings up the game switcher, and we press B to quit out. Not too sure if I like this advanced menu. We'll just press B, and it does exit out. A battery monitor, that's pretty handy. If we think our battery's failing, and we can use this to confirm it. Change the clock, change the display, we'll keep that as standard though. Ebook reader, expert tab, file explorer, image explorer, or screenshot viewer as it says. You can take screenshots on this, which is pretty cool. So if you're inside a game and you found something pretty neat, you can press the screenshot hotkey. Game switcher, which does pop up when you press the menu button once in game. Guest mode, this is so you can enable it, give your handheld to a friend to play with, and it doesn't affect any of your save files. A music player, OnionOS over-the-air updater, so you can update it over Wi-Fi. PDF viewer, that's pretty handy. Launch a random game from any system. That's a interesting choice. Terminal, not too sure how useful that would be on here. And video player. There's quite a few neat apps on here. And obviously you've got settings. It's pretty much the same as stock. Nothing too fancy in here. I think we should try out a few actual games. We'll start with something easy, Game Boy. We've just got Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge, which is the first Mega Man Game Boy game. It loads almost instantly, which is nice. And everything seems to work perfectly, as you would expect. So there's nothing really remarkable to say about Game Boy emulation. So instead, let's take a look at some of these shortcuts. So to use the shortcuts is a little bit different than other handhelds. The menu button, which is the main button in the middle of the Miyoo Mini Plus, is the main hotkey, and then you need to hold that along with your secondary key. So for example, if I hold the menu key and L1, it should rewind. That doesn't seem to be working out of the box. Menu and R1 should fast forward, and it does, it toggles it. Save and load state should be L2 and R2. So save state, menu and R2. It did say state saved. Move around a little bit and we'll load the state. Yep, that works fine. We can also toggle FPS on and off. So menu and X. There we go. The frame rate's at the very bottom left. Toggle it back off. And for Game Boy specifically, pressing L2 or R2 does change between the palettes. That is pretty cool. I do like the quick change. There's not too much else to see here, so we'll quit out of Game Boy and try a more demanding system. If you press the menu button once, it brings up the game switcher, so it saves the state first, then you can change between games that you've recently played. But if instead you hold down the button, it does quit straight out of the game. Next we'll try MS-DOS. I did copy a few DOS games over. I think we'll go with Duke Nukem 2, see if that works. I want to go down to run Nukem 2. So it did load instantly again, which is good. Seems to work fine so far. We'll actually start a game though. Go episode 1. Does seem to be running a little bit slower than it should. Not a huge deal. It's definitely still very playable. But it's definitely not full speed. We might quit out of Duke 2, so hold down the menu button. There we go. Pressing it once also seems to bring up the on-screen keyboard. We'll go down to something a little bit easier, Keen 1. So once again, it seems to be working perfectly fine, but we'll go into an actual level. And yeah, it looks like older games like Commander Keen 1 work perfectly fine. So Duke Nukem 2 does seem to be pushing it to its limit. Anything newer than that, it will struggle. For the two games we've tested, the button mapping works perfectly out of the box too. B jumps and A is pogo stick or shoot, depending on the game, and A and B together for Keen 1 obviously fires. If we press the menu button once, it does toggle the on-screen keyboard, but it also goes to the game switcher. So we may need to change that in settings. If we press B to exit, it does quit out. So far DOS does seem to be pretty good, but there are definitely some quirks with it. If there's any interest, we could revisit this in the future and do a full video on it. Next we'll try some Nintendo DS. It's got Mario Kart DS. I'm not too sure how well this will run on here. We'll go into an actual level. So far it seems fine, but we are still on the main menu. See if we can toggle between full screen. Looks like out of the box we can't. There we go. It looks like you press R2 to toggle between the two screens. And yeah, this seems to be running full speed. I'm surprised actually. Quite impressed. The handheld is getting warm though. I can feel it warming up in my hands. Not worryingly hot, but definitely warmer than ambient. Can we bring up the drastic menu? Pressing the menu button once does quit out as well. So all of the other low-end systems will obviously run fine. If it does NDS, mostly fine. I think next we should try some ports. So if we go into the ports folder, there's none in there at the moment. What we have to do is go down to import ports and press A. Should refresh. It said found 4 of 4 ports. There we go. We'll go to action. So we've got Bomberman, which was pre-installed with OnionOS. Pong, another one that's pre-installed. And the shareware version of Diablo 1. This is the one that we copied over. We'll try run that. Once again, it loads almost instantly. That's great. Very, very fast, very, very smooth. Let's quickly go into a game. It does have the awesome Tristram background music. And it seems to be working fine. We're obviously not in a battle, just the main town. But it is pretty impressive that ports work at all on this little handheld. Pressing the menu button in this brings up the Diablo pause menu. So to quit, you would go down to quit. The menu button does seem to be customizable at least. So if we go into our NES folder, we do have Mega Man 2 in here, but there's no Boxart. So I think next we should try out Scraper. So to do that, we do have to connect to our Wi-Fi, so go back to the main menu, go down to settings, Wi-Fi, turn Wi-Fi on, and I'll just connect to my access point. And we're connected, so we'll go back to our games list, go back to NES. Inside here, we want to press Y, and that should bring up Screen Scraper, or it brings up the settings list. Go down to Scrape and NES. I want to scrape all FC games, press OK, and we'll let it do its thing. I don't want to add a Screen Scraper account, so we are limited to, I believe, 2,000 or 4,000 images. That's fine. It found Mega Man 2, so it knows. Seems to be going through 3 different scrapers. And we're back to the main menu, and there's our box art. It was that easy. Overall, OnionOS was fairly easy to install, as long as your handheld is running an up-to-date firmware. It was super easy copying games over as well, didn't need to use any weird tools. It is just a standard FAT32 partition, so it worked perfectly on Windows. I love all of the extra systems that it adds as well, including NDS, which again, I'm pretty sure that wasn't possible on stock, at least not out of the box. And DOSBox. I am a huge fan of old DOS games, so I am very, very happy that that works. The pre-installed apps like PDF Viewer, Music and Video Player, Screen Scraper, and even Activity Tracker are all very, very cool as well. Even things like the Diablo 1 port worked really, really well. If you do have a Miyoo Mini Plus and you are still using the stock firmware, I would definitely recommend at least checking out OnionOS. It really turns this little handheld from just okay to pretty great. I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.